All right, we're live. Welcome back to our daily live feed. We are live both on Instagram and on YouTube. And as you log on, say hello, type in that comment box, say hi, tell me you're here. And as always, if you'd like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. What's up? Welcome. Tonight is a BSPN preview night. We're going to preview the weekend pro shows. But as always, we just give it a few minutes for everyone to get logged on first. Hope everybody's been having a great week so far. And if you haven't done so already, in the link in our description box on YouTube and in the link tree on Instagram is the link to buy your Cuties Conquering the Stage tickets, either in person or live stream. Yes, good evening, everyone. Hello. And if you are on Instagram, over on YouTube, we will be screen sharing so you can see photos. We always give it about 3 minutes or so everybody can get logged on and get settled in and ready to go. Yes, you should switch over to YouTube. Yes. So I still go live on Instagram, so that way you always have that option. For some people, that's more user-friendly. I personally like YouTube better. Plus, I can screen share on YouTube, which I can't do that on Instagram. So YouTube, in my opinion, is a better platform all the way around, So if you log on over there, best thing to do if you get onto YouTube is to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Because what YouTube will do, if you turn on notifications, it will send you a reminder that we're going live a half hour before we actually go live. So then that way you don't forget, you're there with us. Because it's a lot more fun when you're here with me and can ask questions and can participate and all of that. And then once we're done, it does get uploaded into YouTube so you can go back and watch it again. Like I said, I do screen share the photos and videos and things like that now too. So that gives you the ability to go back and watch it as well. And once it goes live again, go back and comment. Once it's back into our YouTube channel, go back and comment on it. I'll come back and respond to comments. We got quite a few comments in actually from yesterday's live after we played it. So I did respond to like one of them, but I haven't had a chance to do the other ones. But when you go in there and put comments on the replays, then I can go back and respond to those comments too, which I do try to respond to most everybody. I do miss some people, but I try to respond to everybody. It's a lot. All the social media stuff is a lot to keep up with. Love the ability to comment. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think it keeps it fun. For me, like I'm sitting here talking to myself basically when we're live, you know what I mean? So I like having you guys participate because then that way I can actually have people to bounce stuff off of. So your response was my cardio theater day. I love it. That's great. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. I found that a lot of girls have been telling me that this is what they do now is they go back and they watch the live feeds during their cardio and things like that. So we are your cardio theater for those of you that are still in prep right now, which is a few of you. Most of us sane people are not in prep right now. Most of us have gone into an improvement season at this point because we're towards the end of the competition year, but there's a few of you out there who are still a little crazy, a little cray-cray. It's okay. It's all right. Tonight is going to be a good example of why you need to always be ready kind of thing. We're going to go into that in a minute when we go into previewing the two shows that we're going to preview tonight. So one more week. Yeah, I know Jennifer's competing next week at Atlantic Coast. So she's still in prep for one more week. So I've actually prepped through the holidays and stuff before. It's not as bad as people think it might be. It actually helps you stay on track, that kind of thing. So it's really not terrible. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the chat overlay first, and then we're going to go into some pro show preview. There we go. All right, so we actually have 3 pro shows this weekend, but I'm not going to go into Japan because we don't know any of the girls that are actually competing in that show. I did go through and look at the list, and there were no like familiar names, that kind of thing. So There is still the Japan Pro as well, but we're just not going to preview that one tonight. So we are going to preview a bit with Romania. So I'm going to bring that list up first here. Well, there we go. So for those of you logging on Instagram, I'm screen sharing on YouTube. So flip on over to YouTube if you'd like. There we go. Okay, so Romania is a tier 3 show, which means that the points are higher. I actually got this wrong the other night when we were calculating point totals and things like that. So tier 3 shows actually get 6 points for second place. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 is how it goes to the top 5. I had it at 5. I was wrong. So math is hard, you guys. Math is hard. But anyway, it's a tier 3 show, not a tier 4 show. So it does get more points. So that is significant when it comes to the point totals for this race to qualify for the Olympia, because there's a few girls in Europe that are very, very close to qualifying. We went over that a couple nights ago, but what we're looking at as far as the girls that are on the cusp of actually getting qualified are Stein Hansen, Esther Ozakala, can't pronounce her last name, but I'm going to be bringing these photos up for you guys too, and Jessica Bruin that are in Europe. And actually Jessica's from Brazil, but she is competing in Romania. So it's significant because if they don't win this show, they will get points, and they will get more points than any of the girls that are competing this weekend here in the States. Okay, so that's why it's significant. Now I pulled up a few names here. Now I did look at like the wellness and the figure lineups, but being European shows, I don't know any of the girls here on the figure lineup. And I don't know any of the girls on the wellness lineup. We'll start to know them a little bit better after this year's Olympia, once we've seen them compete here in the States a little bit. Whoever actually wins these shows, that kind of thing, so we'll be able to pay attention to them. But as of this point, I don't know any of these women, so I'm not familiar with them. I did kind of glance at them really quickly, but there'll be people to be paying attention to going into this next year for sure. But with that said, we're starting to get familiar with some of these bikini girls. Now, first one that I have pulled up is Valerie. So the reason why I've pulled her up is because she has actually won 2 shows already this year. So she is already qualified for the Olympia. She won the Warsaw, and she also won the Prague Pro, which Prague is not up on NPC News yet, so I don't know. I'm not sure why. It's been a couple weeks since Prague. But Prague is not up on the NBC News site yet, but she has won 2 shows already this year. So she would be your front runner going into this show, right? So she's the one that we talked about. That's beautiful lines. That's 5'9", tall girl, beautiful girl. Let me show a couple of photos here. Really nice frame. And this was, I think, so I thought that Prague was actually her pro debut, and it wasn't, because she competed here in this Warsaw Pro. So I believe this was her pro debut, was the Warsaw, and she did win it. I actually felt like she looked better in Prague based on the photos that I have seen of her and the videos I have seen of her. I think she looked even better at Prague than she did in Warsaw. And I think she fixed a few posing things. I think she filled out a little bit. Like even when you're looking at her right here, she looks a little bit bottom heavy. It looks like she's losing a little bit of her shoulders. She didn't look like that at Prague. At Prague, she had nice full round shoulders. So I think she probably dialed herself in a little bit differently for Prague, and I actually liked her Prague look better. It could also be the lighting in the photos, things like that too. All of those things are taken into account as well. But she's a beautiful girl. And she's making some waves already, just coming in off a pro win, pro card win. She won her pro card. Let me see. It's right here. She won her pro card just recently here in August. So let's take a look at that. Let's see what she looked like when she won her pro card. Bikini. She won the overall, which makes sense. That's why she's doing so well in the pro league now. Here's a good pro picture. Here's the front. So yeah, she's really fixed her posing quite a bit since she won her pro card. She's fixed her frame, like as far as streamlining and things like that, since she won her pro card. And this was just in August. So just a couple of months, she's done some tweaking to her overall look. And I think all of it's for the better. Tall girl, long girl, lots of muscle, but very well put together. Let's take a look at her back shot from Warsaw. Yeah, her legs are definitely wow. That's something that we talked about. And I want to clarify this too, because I mentioned when we talked about her for Prague, winning Prague, that tall girls are starting to get rewarded more. Now, when I said that, I'm not saying that shorter girls are not getting rewarded. What I'm saying is that it used to be that tall girls never got rewarded, right? You had like a few anomalies. You had, Laura Lee is 5'8", and so is Janet. So you have a few girls that are anomalies, but usually the sweet spot for bikini is 5'4" to 5'6". Anybody outside of that range, you rarely see them, win shows. So the fact that we're seeing girls that are 5'9", like this girl right here, winning shows is great. I think it's fantastic. And that's not to say that shorter girls won't win. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that taller girls are starting to get rewarded more, which is good. It's a good thing. The long lines and everything. So even here in Warsaw, this is a great look, but I think Prague was better. I feel like every show that I've seen with her, she's gotten a little bit better with her presentation and her overall balance and everything too. So I would expect her to be your odds-on favorite to win Romania. Again, she is already Olympia qualified, but I think she's going to win it again. I think she's going to get a third win. And if she does get a third win on a tier 3 show going into this Olympia, she's going to get noticed when she gets to Olympia. And you guys, she just turned pro in August. So this shows you how quickly, if you are put together well and you're ready for the pro league, how quickly you could shoot up the ranks, right? So it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see what she looks like when she comes to the States. I do think she might be a little bit conditioned, a little bit over-conditioned for what we're looking for here in the United States, but we'll see. We'll see how she stacks up when she gets here. So she would be the one that I'd consider to be like your favorite to win for this particular show. Next one that I have pulled up is Stein Hansen. So Stein has competed in the Olympia in the past. She is not currently Olympia qualified, but she is in the top seeds for points. She's one that has a really great frame, but I tend to think that she over poses quite a bit. Let me see if I can find a good front pose and a couple of transitions, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. She's gotten better, right? She's gotten a lot better with her posing, but I think she still needs some work. I think she still needs some work on really refining her poses. Like here, this is her front pose. I can just see where she could make this better. She's sitting over her back leg a little bit. She needs to stand up tall. She's sitting over her back leg because she thinks that helps for her to push this glute out a little bit more, but that's actually too exaggerated. She just needs to stand up tall here. If she stood up tall here, this would be a whole lot more flattering on her frame. So there's just a few little tweaks and things like that because she's trying to accentuate her curve here, it actually looks forced. Let's take a look at one of her transition poses if we can. So I always see it a lot in her transition poses as far as her over posing. Let me see what that one looks like. Yeah, it's not a very good pose. It doesn't really show her what I'm looking for with her transition, but she switched transition sides. It does look like she's trying to fix it a little bit in these pictures. But there's just a few things are just a touch off with her poses. She's trying. I can tell she's trying to fix it. I can tell she's trying to. It's just not quite landing, right? She needs to lock this knee out so this stays up tall again. She's just arching and pushing and bending too much. Just stand up. Just stand up. She'd be good to go. Let's take a look at a back shot. But this is, I can see where she's improving, and she's trying to improve, and she's trying to make these poses a little bit better. It's just not quite landing yet. Again, same thing here when we're looking at the back poses. She's pushing too much. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see what I'm talking about when I'm saying she's pushing too much and she's arching too much? Go ahead and comment there. Tell me if you can actually see what I'm talking about. If she was to stand up a little taller here through this lower back, her whole glute would just round out so much more. She just needs to stand up a little bit more. She's just arching too much. Yeah, she's just arching too much. So, when you're in a lineup that's a little bit weaker, you're going to get away with that. When you're in a strong lineup, you're not. So she's got a great frame. She's just doing too much, right? She's just doing too much. So let's see what she does this coming weekend, because I think if she fixes these little minor things, she could easily be in the top couple of spots, right? You see full ponytail. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. It's just too extreme of an arch. It's just too extreme of an arch. So hopefully she's still working on that. Again, it does look like she's been working on it. It's just she needs to continue to stand up more. So Jessica Bruin is the next one we're going to talk about. She's from Brazil. We don't have a lot of photos of her in this Mexico show, because this Mexico show, they didn't have a lot of photos in general. But she is one of the ones that's fighting for points right now. She's one of the ones to be paying attention to as far as points are concerned. I don't want to critique too much on these photos, because again, we only have a handful of them. We don't have a lot. So she may not be fully in her pose here. You can't really see what's going on because it's so dark. I can't see what's going on with her shoulder here, because she has hair on it, that kind of thing. So again, I don't want to critique too much, because this could be in between her getting set into her pose. So we'll see what she looks like at this particular show in Romania. But she is going to be paying attention to, because again, she's fighting. She's fighting for points right now. I don't know if we even have, let me see if we have back shots of her. Yeah, see, she's not even posed in any of these back shots. You can see this here from screen sharing here. She's not even posed. So there, I don't want to critique her or anything like that, because there's not really a lot here that we have to work from. So we'll see what she looks like this weekend in Romania. But she's going to be paying attention to. And then Esther is another one. She's also fighting for points. She's also in the top for points here. This was the one that I thought, for some reason, I thought she was already qualified, but she's not. She's fighting for points. She is towards the top of the list. And after this weekend, we'll know if she's going to stay in the top. Overall, nice frame, nice structure, nice muscle. She just needs to fix some posing. She needs to twist a little bit more here. Just make that waistline look a little bit sharper, just so that she looks a little bit bigger on top and bigger on bottom. Bring that V line in. But overall, this is a really good frame. And she's nice and round, which is good. We like seeing that. Let's take a look at her back. This was the Spain show where she placed 8th. So she was out of the top 5 of this particular show. So she didn't get any points at this show. Same thing with Stein. Stein was out of the top 5 as well. She did not get points either. Let's see. Here's a back shot of her. So overall, pretty decent back shot. I think she might be arching a little too much still. I think she would stand up a little taller. She's not arching as much as Stein was. And I think her toes are out a little bit too far. She needs to bring her toes in so that we don't see all this quad out here and we see more glute. I'm not sure why she's got her toes out as far as she does, but those need to come in a little bit just so that we don't see all that quad sweep, right? Even this photo is on an angle coming from over here, and we see a lot of quad sweep. So I can imagine looking at it from the judge's perspective, they're seeing a lot of legs. Upper body looks good. We got that nice round delt on the top. That's great. Hair look is good. All of that too. Just needs to tweak some of these poses. And she's round and full, and she's a little bit tight on the conditioning. However, everybody at the show kind of was, and that's typical of European competitors. You'll see them being a little bit more conditioned overall. So that's like what I was saying about that Valerie, who when she comes to the States, we'll see how well her look actually translates here to the States. But not a bad look. Let's just see what she does going into this show. But she's another one where we could potentially see her in the top 5, and she's also fighting for points. Let's see. So Esther, the one we just had up there, she has 24 points. That puts her in the 4th place spot right now, right outside the top 3 qualifying. Stein is at the 2nd place spot. She's got 27. And then Jessica Bruin is in the 5th place spot. She's got 19. So the fact that Romania is a tier 3 means that they do get more points. So that could very easily bump them up really quickly. Like, let's say Jessica gets second, she's going to be at 25 points, which puts her close to getting up into those top 3 spots, right? So my guess is that Jessica is probably going to go on and do Denmark next weekend. You know, to be honest with you, all these European girls, if they're not going to win this weekend, should probably do Denmark next weekend, because we've got girls in the States competing next weekend too. So let's move on to Sacramento. So here's the list for Sacramento right here. A couple of notes going into the show is we have her highlighted right here. See Jody right there on that list? We're going to pull her up in a minute. But I mentioned this when we were talking about people not being safe with points. Jody realized that she's not safe on points, obviously, so she is doing Sacramento. One name that is notably missing from this list is Erin Stern. Erin Stern was supposed to be in this show. I don't know how many of you guys follow her YouTube or anything like that, but she does a weekly update on her YouTube channel where she talks about where she's at with her prep and things like that. And she had committed to this show a long time ago because this was going to be her warm-up going into the Olympia. Her updates she put out yesterday, she said that she's not doing this show because her body was not responding how she wanted it to. If you go watch her YouTube, she talks about how she went to a new doctor. They put her on progesterone and made her retain weight. She was fluctuating a lot in weight. And it just wasn't good for her. And she went off it so that she can be able to be good for the Olympia. But she made a great point. And she said, you know, the point of Sacramento was to come in and test my look going into the Olympia. And if I'm going to be all over the place in weight and I'm not going to be at my best and I'm not going to be at 100%, she's like, there's no point in me getting on that stage. She goes, it's just going to make me stress out more. My body's going to be even more beat up going into the Olympia because I have to get it to regulate again. She's like, so it's just not a smart move for me to do that. So go watch her YouTube channel if you haven't. She has been updating weekly on what she's doing for her Olympia prep. So I thought that was pretty cool that she put that out there, and she's really transparent about that. So it helps you see a realistic view of what some pros do have to deal with. And again, she is 42 years old, so she has to take her health a little bit more seriously. Trust me, I understand at 41 myself, you know, so it's just a really cool thing to see her be that transparent about it and just tell everybody, like, listen, this happens to everyone kind of thing. And you just have to be smart and your health comes first. So kudos to her. I wanted to put that out there because, again, she was supposed to do this show. And going into this show, I would say she would have been my pick for the win, right? Without her in it, up at that top spot, we see Vanya, okay? Vanya on this list is the only one that is actually qualified for the Olympia. She won the Nashville Fit Show. And she won in front of Sandy at the Nashville Fit Show. So I'm guessing what she's doing here is, again, probably the same thing that you saw Erin do, which was she's trying to, you know, warm up for Olympia. And she's getting back in front of Sandy, which is smart. Now, I was there at the Nashville Fit Show. And guys, I do this kind of thing when I'm at shows. If you ever see me at shows, I'm always as close to the judges as I possibly can get. You're going to see me in the first couple of rows towards the center. I'm not in the center because if I'm in the center, I'm behind the photographer and I can't get good pictures and videos. So I'm off to the side of center. So anyway, so I was there in this show, and you know, you can actually watch the judges all talking back and forth between each other when they're trying to decide who's going to win a show, right? And you could see them when they talked about Vanya saying she was the best fully balanced competitor on this stage. Now, the other thing I want to mention about her is that one of the things she's gotten critiqued for in the past is her conditioning. Now, we've talked about this before. I like Vanya's level of conditioning. I like this level of conditioning. She's a little bit softer than what we see in a lot of girls, but I think this is the right call. I think this is what we call the down the middle conditioning. You know, I've talked about this. We talked about this with Jordan this week. And every time that Jordan's gone on stage and won a show, she's down the middle. I think Vanya is down the middle, and I really like that. I think that's a really good look when it comes to conditioning. So, you know, going into the show, I would guess she's your odds-on favorite to win. Let me find a back shot for you. Let's see. Here's a good one. So again, you can see from the back, she's really well balanced from top to bottom, and she's not overly anything. She's conditioned. You can see her hamstring. She's tight, all that kind of thing, but she's not too tight. She's round and full. You know, those are the things that I like about bikini, right? I want bikini to be here. This is what I consider to be good conditioning for bikini. So just, you know, I'm gonna point that out anytime we see that kind of thing. So a lot of girls thought, or not a lot of girls, a lot of people that I talked to at Nashville thought she was too soft. And I said, no, I think she's good. I think she's good right where she is, you know, and I think that's where bikini should be. So anyway, she would be, in my opinion, your odds-on favorite to win, because the next one in line, I believe, would be either Lana or Jody. I pulled up Jody, right? Let me see. Yeah, I did. Let me pull Jody up. Pull Jody up after Lana. So, you know, Lana is another one that is down the middle with the conditioning. So a lot of people ask, like, why she keeps getting up into that top call out, those top twos, because her conditioning is down the middle. You know, she's not over the top on anything. And that's what bikini is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this, oh my God, look at how great her conditioning is. Oh my God, look at how big her shoulders are. That's not bikini. Now we just talked about Lana a couple days ago because she did Rising Phoenix. I'm trying to find a good front shot of her. I remember when we got her around to the front the last time, we had a good front shot of her. Here we go. And, you know, again, when we're looking at her conditioning is down in the middle. So, you know, I think that's the right call when it comes to conditioning. Now, at the same time, I do think she still needs to grow another layer of muscle. So when you look at her in comparison to Vanya, you know, just between these two shows, conditioning is very comparable, very, very comparable. But I would say that Vanya would edge her out because Vanya has more pop to her shoulders and has more pop to her glutes than Lana does. Does that translate onto this next Sacramento stage? We'll see. We'll see, right? But in the conditioning aspect, I think that they both are very, very comparable in that regard. So we'll see how it plays out when the two of them are next to each other. And then the other one that I think is going to be in that mix too is going to be Jody. Now, Jody, this is the last show that she did, which was Savannah. These pictures are all a little bit orangey, which is not the most flattering thing in the world. Now, Jody, I think, is the same. Here we go. So Jody is down the middle with the conditioning again, too. She's not overly conditioned. And Jody's had a few months off at this point now, too, right? So her body's rested. She's been prepping for the Olympia. So she hasn't been on stage for a while. So she's had some time off. So she's going to come in looking pretty fresh. At Nashville Fit Show, I believe Jody came in second. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Jody was second at Nashville Fit Show, and only by like a point or two. It was between her. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I think she came in third. I had her in second, I think. I can't remember. Let me pull it up. It's right here. Let me pull it up so I'm not talking out of my ass. Nashville Fit Show. She was third. That's right. That's right. I had her in second. That's right. Okay. She came in third. But again, her conditioning is down the middle here. Okay. Her conditioning is down the middle. The critique that we've always said about Jody is just she needs some more glutes, right? So let me get a back shot. She's consistently in that top call out though. She's just missed winning shows by like a point a handful of times, that kind of thing. Here we go. So from the back, again, this particular show, she was a little softer because she'd been competing nonstop, that kind of thing. But again, she's going to come back rested. So she's going to come back a little bit tighter. And I think that's what she needs. She's a little bit tighter than this, but I think she was good at Nashville. I felt like her conditioning at Nashville was good. But again, she's going to compare well to these other two girls, to Lana and to Vanya. And if you look at the shape from the front, Jody's shape from the front is very, very similar to Lana's shape from the front. I mean, just look at her from the front. So there's Jody from the front. I think I closed out Lana. Let me see if I can get Lana back up. Okay. So So again, there's Jody. Now let's take a look at Lana from the front. Sorry, my mouse is being stupid tonight too, so I'm like having trouble with it. And see how similar their shapes are from the front? Can you guys see that? They're very, very similar from the front. Very, very similar from the front. Again, I think between the three of these girls, if I was to put them all next to each other right now, based on what they've brought to the stage before, I think that Vanya edges it out. But we won't know until they all stand next to each other. Okay. And then also, I also have up here as somebody to be paying attention to is Marissa. Marissa's been in the top call outs since she's been on stage the last few shows. And she's the one that I've mentioned. She has a really great frame from the front, and she just needs to grow some upper glute. So there's Marissa from the front. Let me find a back shot of her. Here's a back shot. So where she's lacking is in the upper glute. Right here. But again, conditioning level is relatively similar to the other three girls that we mentioned. She just needs some more upper glute up here. So it's really, I mean, I could see her hanging with these girls though. So I think they're probably going to be your top. And if I had to pick a winner right now, based on what they've brought to the stage before, and based on, just their record, I would say Vanya is going to be the winner here. But it could go to somebody else who we haven't even mentioned, right? This is going to be an interesting weekend. This particular weekend is going to be interesting because, again, the only one that's actually qualified is Vanya. I would like to see Vanya get another win. Her first win ever was Nashville Fit Show. So it'd be nice to see her get another one. We do have Demi Chow on there too. I believe she placed in the top call out last show as well. I was looking for her photos. They didn't come up. So I think they just have a typo in her name or something like that. So there's a bunch of other girls in here that who knows could come out and just, pull one out, that kind of thing. That's definitely possible. If I had to pick a winner here, though, I would say Vanya is going to pull it out. And Lana and Jody are just so close to each other as far as their look. It's going to be a matter of who looks best that day. They're going to be very hard to compare. I think, did they compete against each other at Clash? So she took 4th or 12th, I'm sorry, and 7th. So yeah, I mean, even here, back in April, they competed against each other at the Clash, and Lana took 7th and Jody took 12th. I think those are the only two shows they actually stood up next to each other. And that was at the very beginning of the season. So they both have changed quite a bit since then. So we can't even compare that. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It's going to be an interesting show because these competitors all will compare pretty well to each other as far as shape, conditioning, muscle size, all that kind of stuff. They're very, very similar to each other, right? What do you guys think? Who do you have winning this particular show? If Erin was in it and at her full potential, I would have had Erin winning it. But because she's not, I'm going to say Vanya take the win. But this is important. This weekend is important because depending on how these play out, we're going to see how the points are going to be laid out. Because again, both Lana and Jody are in the top consideration for points. Lana right now has 26 points and Jody has 30. So, even if Lana beats Jody in this show by a placing or two, Jody will still have more points than her. But we'll see. You think Jody finally gets her win? Maybe. I mean, it's possible. It's possible that Jody gets her win here. It is possible. The same thing that with Vanya we've been talking about. We talked about her with this last year. all year for the last 2 years. We were like hoping that Bonnie would finally pull out a win. And she just was knocking at that door, second place so many times. And then she finally got her win. She finally got her win this year in August. So, you always people want to pull for the person that is coming this close, right? Coming this close. So I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, it's going to be interesting because these girls all do look very similar. So we're going to get a really good idea, of who it's going to be like. It's going to be like splitting hairs. It really is going to be splitting hairs. I don't know if there's a live stream. Let me see. I'm sure that Romania has one. I don't know. Romania always has one, and they're a big one. That is not the right email address. I'm going to type in. Oh, that's why. Okay. Tickets. I don't see anything on here for a live stream. Yeah, Spectrum usually don't. I don't see anything on here for a live stream. So what that tells me is that if you want to watch it live on a live stream or something, somebody probably will have it up on Instagram. I'm guessing maybe like if it's like that, usually Fit Body Fusion will go live from Instagram. If they, if they don't have a paid live stream, that you're going to find somebody that's going to be live streaming it on Instagram. So just be keeping your eyes out and eyes open and peeled for that kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, actually, I remember. Just remembered this. I think Lana was saying last year at this show, Spectrum Fitness, she won the overall in the NPC. And then she went on to win her pro card at the Ben Weeder. And now she's coming back around and competing in it as a pro. So, it'd be cool if Lana could pull out her first win here at this show too, It's going to be interesting to see. I'm curious to see how their physiques look because Bonnie's had a break. Jody's had a break. Lana had a decent break during the summer, but now she's been back doing, 3 or 4 shows back to back at this point now too. So yeah, it should be interesting to see how it plays out. And they're all favorites. They're all girls that are like right on the cusp, and they've been right on the cusp the whole year, But I do think it's smart of Jody to jump into the show and not just sit back and wait, because no matter what happens this weekend, some of these girls in this top 5, they're going to get points. Some of them are going to get points. And that means that Jody's not safe. So hopefully if she doesn't pull a win out here, that she gets enough points where she can be, still qualified in the top 3. And if I was Jody, I'd probably do next weekend too. I'd probably just do it just to leave it all on the table, because there is more shows next weekend and that's your final chance right there. So smart move to jump into the show and do it. I don't know if she had it planned or not, and she just realized I got to go do it just because of the way that the points are landing out. But, it was a good move on her part. Yeah. Any questions, you guys? Any questions? Anything that you see that I didn't point out? Oh, that's right, Yolanda. Yolanda will be there. So, Yolanda, just make sure that you text me ahead of time if you're going live. I will be at a show myself on Saturday, and I'll be busy all day doing hair and makeup, and the women are in the afternoon. So I doubt I'm going to be able to get on any kind of streams or anything like that. But like, what was it, 3 weeks ago or something like that? Yolanda just started FaceTiming me, and I'm like, I can't get on FaceTime right now. So just let me know ahead of time. Because we do have some girls that are doing the amateur portion of this show too. So I've got like 3 or 4 girls doing this show. in the NPC. So yeah, I'm hoping I get some video footage along the way. So with that said, it's gonna be a busy weekend. Like I said, yeah, right. Like I said, I'll be at a show here in Virginia, so I will try to be stay as updated as I can. But whenever I'm here, I'm like back to back to back with girls. So with that, we'll be back on live again on Tuesday next week. We'll go through and we'll wrap up these shows and see where our point standings are sitting and who's going to be in and who's going to be out as of next weekend. The 20th is the cutoff. So it's getting down to the nitty gritty. It's getting down to the nitty gritty here. So let's see what happens. All right. And in the meantime, if you'd like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. If you are on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, turn on those notifications so that you know when we go live and video uploads go in. Comment, like, all of that help with our algorithms here so we can get seen more. These are getting viewed more, which is good. That's all good. Get more views. That helps us. Yolanda, I will text you names. So obviously, Brandy. Brandy's going in to do this one too. Brandy just won the overall at San Antonio. So she's doing this show before she goes into nationals. And then I have a couple of other girls that I'll send you. Hopefully they'll give me their competitor numbers. If they can give me their competitor numbers when they check in, I'll get you their numbers so you know who to look out for. And then hopefully we'll get video of everybody. All right, you guys, that is it. Get tickets for Cues Conquering the Stage. If you haven't already, we have full price tickets for in person, and we have live stream tickets if you can't come in person. Those links are in my bio on Instagram and description box here on YouTube. And other than that, I will see you guys back here on Tuesday Night Live. Okay? The X out of Instagram first. Good night, you guys. And then